So, what I would like to cover today is how to make sure that you are 100% in this journey. Okay, how to make sure you're 100% committed to this journey, so we can avoid things like being half in and half out, which will give you half-ass results, and how to avoid feelings of guilt, of doubt, of like this is wrong, and self-sabotage. All right, because do we have any self-sabotagers in the house? Any self-sabotagers? We all got something in there. Yep. So that's what I'm going to kind of talk through today. Okay. Now I'm reading this book. It's called The 12 Rules of Life by Jordan B. Peterson. This book is probably one of the most academic books I've read in a while. I'm used to business books and like motivation books and mindset books. This one, I was reading this one in bed, and then Ryan comes in the room and he starts talking to me. I'm like, there's no way I can multitask and read all. It is so wordy. Oh my goodness. I was laughing. I was like, don't try to talk to me. I'm trying so hard to understand this. It's like a textbook. So if you're interested in the book, be prepared for that. Now, I was reading this book and there's a little blurb in it, like a very, very small paragraph. And it made me really think, okay? And the paragraph is this. So it says, imagine that 100 people are prescribed a drug, okay? Consider what happens next. 1/3 of them won't fill the prescription. 1/3 of them will follow it perfectly. And the other third won't take it properly. They'll miss doses. They'll stop taking it early because they feel better, or they just won't take it at all. Okay. And this kind of was really interesting for me because how many people have been prescribed antibiotics before? Everybody's been on antibiotics, right? Who took them properly every single time? Did you finish your dosage? Did you take them on time? Or did you have to double up because you forgot one? Or did you stop taking them early because you felt better? Right? So it was really interesting because I saw a lot of parallels between this like medical comparison and the weight loss comparison, right? So just because a doctor prescribes you medication doesn't mean you're gonna go fill it. Doesn't mean you're gonna take it properly. Just because someone gives you a meal plan doesn't mean you're gonna follow it, right? And so it's really, really interesting to me, because we are so good at taking care of everybody else, at taking care of everyone else, everything else. Where they say men are the head of the household, but women are the necks. We can turn the men however we want. You ever hear that one? So we take care of everybody, and we would never let any one of our loved ones get away from that. If we were taking care of our loved ones and they had a medical prescription that they had to follow, you'd give it to them properly, right? You'd make sure it was done properly. You'd be diligent. You'd be detailed. It wouldn't be a chore for you. You'd have to do it. Then for some reason we put so much care and detail and effort into everybody else's healing and everybody else's recovery, but we don't give ourselves the same luxury, right? I remember when my dog Ducky, she needed surgery on her eye, and she had the surgery, and afterwards she needed one eye drop to fight the infection. She needed another eye drop to suppress the immune system so she could start building tears again. Then she needed another drop to act as lube for her eye until the immunosuppressant one kicked in. And then she needed a painkiller from the surgery. So she did like 4 things multiple times a day. It was crazy. It was hectic. But I didn't think twice about doing it. I don't think twice about making sure she gets the best food, the highest quality food, right? But for some reason, we just don't do that to ourselves. We do the bare minimum to just survive instead of thrive. We do the bare minimum so that we can keep taking care of everybody else. Is this making sense so far? And so that parallel was really crazy to me. And we, especially as women, we are just so good at taking on responsibility. We are so good at being the rock for everybody, on taking the burden of being responsible, that it almost feels unnatural to take care of yourself. It almost feels unnatural, like you're doing something wrong when you start to do things for you, when you start to feel good. It almost feels wrong, right? And it becomes so unnatural because when you have a busy week, what's the first thing that goes? Oh, I can't fit my workouts in. Oh, I didn't have time to meal prep. When there's a busy, crazy week, what happens? Your needs, they're the first thing and the easiest thing that you drop. It's become so automatic that keeping them feels wrong. You almost can't even justify it sometimes. It's unnatural and it's crazy. And a lot of people would say, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink, right? And I would 100% agree with that, right? I can give you everything you need to lose weight, but I can't make you follow it, right? But here's what I also don't like. Here's what I don't like, right? With that saying, I can lead you to water, and I need you to want to come to the water. I need you to be thirsty. I need you to want to lose weight in order to take you there. But here's the thing. What if you forgot how to drink? What if you forgot how to drink? Just being there isn't enough anymore. Just having the tools isn't enough anymore. It has been so ingrained in you that it is unnatural, that you have forgotten how to put yourself first and how to take care of yourself, what that means, how that feels, what does it look like. You've forgotten how to drink. So it doesn't matter if I bring you to the water. You don't know what to do when you get there. Even if you wanted to drink, you don't know what you're doing. Even if you want to lose weight, you don't know what you're doing. If you want to take care of yourself, put yourself first, reshape your lifestyle, you've forgotten how to do that. And so leading a horse to water isn't good enough anymore. And you've been misled by the industry, by people who with ulterior motives, that it was really unfair to expect you to actually drink. Does this make sense? It's crazy, ladies. Like, it's unfair to expect you to actually drink because you have forgotten. And so you need the right support system to remind you. You need to reteach yourself how to drink. It's absolutely crazy. And it's also like, you know, the saying, you can give a man a fish and he eats for a day, or you can teach a man to fish and he eats for the rest of his life. Heard that saying before? It's crazy because up until now, your whole lives, you've been fishing for everybody else. You've been fishing for everybody else, making sure they were taken care of. And then when you start to fish for yourself, you've forgotten how. You don't know how to fish for yourself. It's different than taking care of other people. It feels different. It requires different things. And so it's time to stop fishing for everybody else and be okay learning to fish for yourself. It's a completely different ballpark fishing for yourself. It's absolutely nuts because, you have to make sure you find the right tools for you, right? The right tools, the right meal plan, the right workouts, the right support for you, your needs, your specialized situation. And then you need someone to make sure you know how to use the tools, right? So instead of catching 1 fish in a month, you catch 10 fish a month, right? Instead of losing 1 pound a month on your own, you can lose 10 pounds a month with support. And I think it's really important for you ladies to understand where I'm coming from, because so often I see women, especially as they get further in their weight loss journey, they start to doubt it because their life truly starts to change, right? If you want to get somewhere, if you have a big, big goal, you need to reshape your lifestyle, right? If your life now compared to your life when you reach your goal, it will look different in some ways. And as you go through those changes and as you get closer to that new lifestyle, there's resistance to it, right? There's always resistance to change. There's resistance to, is this the right thing for everybody around me? Is this the right thing? Am I hurting anybody? Do I deserve this? Right? All these doubts that creep back in. But the answer is you can't take care of anybody else unless you take care of yourself. And so the constant reminder that it will feel unnatural. It will feel wrong. There will be self-doubt along this journey, but that's only because you've forgotten how to drink. You've forgotten how to take care of yourself. And so we're not just teaching you how to lose weight. We're teaching you how to put yourself first. First. Not first sometimes. Not first when there's nobody else around. First above everybody. And that is so unnatural as women. Our kids, our spouse, our coworkers, our pets, we're wired to feel guilty if we even think about ourselves before anybody else. And that's a big problem as we go through our weight loss journey, because it tries to stop you. It tries to, anybody else have that little devil on your shoulder? Right? It shows up in self-sabotage. 1 bite won't hurt. You deserve it. Have it. You'll start fresh. I'll just start fresh on Monday. Right? This is the self-sabotage I'm talking about. And this is coming from the unnatural feeling of putting yourself first. You're not used to it. So you're not going to be good at it right away. And that is okay. And what I want you to take away from this is that it is unnatural because you haven't been practicing it. So the feeling of this unnatural thing that you're doing is natural. That unnatural feeling is natural. Expect it, embrace it, realize where it's coming from. It's just coming from inexperience. That's it. So how do you fix inexperience? Experience. You just have to start. You have to start putting in the reps in little by little by little, pile, 1 brick at a time. And before you know it, you have your whole wall built. Okay, ladies? So number one, those feelings are natural. If you're starting to feel guilty, if you're feeling self-doubt, maybe I'll never get there, all these things, that means you're in the right direction. Because you could stop doing what you're doing and those feelings would go away, but where would you be? In the same spot. So what's worth it for you? Staying the same or experiencing uncomfortable emotions, but knowing that they're coming because you're going in the right direction? Right? Nobody said it would be easy, but it sure as hell is worth it. And that's what I want to remind you of today. Okay, you are worthy of being put first. You are worthy of being selfish. You are worthy of all of this. Okay, if that little voice is winning, that means you're in the right direction. It gets louder the closer you are, because it's trying to pull you away faster, because you're used to being comfortable, staying in this comfortable life that you've created for yourself, this comfortable routine, this comfortable lifestyle you created. Everything in your being fights that because you don't know anything else. It's the unknown that is self-sabotaging you. But if the fear of staying the same can outweigh the fear of the unknown, then you'll have the strength to keep walking forward blindly sometimes, because you don't know where you're always going. You don't know where you're always going to end up. But you know it doesn't matter where you end up, because you sure as hell don't want to stay here. That's important. Okay, ladies? And remember, you've forgotten how to drink. So are you going to be good at it? When was the last time you rode a bike? When you rode a bike without training wheels for the first time? Could you do it with no hands? Could you do it with your eyes closed? No, right? It takes practice. It takes reps. There's phases. It comes in waves. So it's okay if you mess up. In fact, there's no way you won't mess up, because this is coming unnatural to you, like a fish out of water. Okay, ladies? So I really want you to just take this as kind of like an exhale. Like, it's okay to go easy on yourself in this journey. Health is forever. There's no end. So where are we rushing? Are you going to be perfect the rest of your life? Because your journey extends the rest of your life. So you're not going to be perfect. So stop expecting yourself to be perfect, and you'll stop letting yourself down, and you'll just enjoy the benefits of this journey every day, instead of only getting excited when you reach a goal. Right? This is going to be a really long, really horrible, really dreadful journey if it's only enjoyable when you reach a goal. Does that make sense? If you're waiting for this goal to come, then you allow yourself to be happy and celebrate. Well, then there's only going to be a handful of goals you're going to reach the rest of your life. So you're going to wait to be happy. You're going to be rushing to those goals. What about all the time in between those goals? And these goals often come in number form, right? 5 pounds, 10 pounds, 50 pounds. We keep waiting to be happy when we see the number. But what about all the time in between? You're still living. You still have life to enjoy. You have to remember that this is forever. So enjoy it. You have to find joy in the journey. You have to have fun. You have to have company. Otherwise, it's very lonely. You got to have like-minded company. You got to have the coaches showing you how to use the tools properly, because using the tools isn't enough anymore. When you don't know how to use the tools, when you've forgotten how to use the tools, it's not enough to just have them in front of you. Just because the water's in front of you doesn't mean you know what to do with it. Does that make sense, ladies? So I want you to very quickly, I want you to write your takeaway in the comments for me. I want you to write the takeaways in the comments. What are you taking away? What are you feeling? How are you feeling about this? Are you understanding it? Does this really touch you right now with where you are in your journey? Are you going to use this later on in your journey? What do you feel? You only make change when you feel uncomfortable. Yep. Stop being afraid of failing. You only fail if you give up. Yep, that's exactly it. Because there's no end, how can you fail if you never stop? Right? Because there's no number goals you're always looking forward to. If you don't reach them one time, it doesn't mean you did bad. It doesn't mean you're not going to be healthy. It just means it happened. It's just written in your story. Move on and keep writing your story. When you fail, it's not an ending. It's just a new chapter. Keep writing your book, right? A book that ends on a cliffhanger, or a book that ends on a failure is not a very good book. Would you want to read the book knowing it's not a happy ending? Probably not. We all like happy endings, right? So don't stop until you've written your own happy ending, whatever that means to you. Yes, exactly. Take it to the happy ending. Yes, won't stop. This is lifelong, so I need to enjoy each moment. Exactly. And it's so much easier said than done, right? Because in the beginning of your journey, that number means something to you. The numbers on the scale mean something to you, and they are so important, and they are important for as a measuring tool. So they mean something to you. But the longer you go on your journey, and the closer you get to the number you thought you wanted to hit, because we all have that one in our head, the more you have to realize that nothing changes once you hit that number. Nothing changes, right? You don't get to, like, what are you expecting? What are you expecting? To be famous all of a sudden? You just go from the Wizard of Oz, from black and white to color all of a sudden? That's just not going to happen. And in fact, if you expect that, you are going to be so disappointed, and you will always be in search of something. You'll always be in search of something. But because you ladies are here and you're listening, you know it takes more than just a physical change to get to those goals you've set. And so if you're taking the right emotional, mental, spiritual approach to your journey, which is what Fit Queen is all about with our mind makeovers, then when you get to that number you had in mind, it doesn't mean anything anymore. It's just one step. You've already had the next goal in mind. And in fact, when you think like that, you actually reach the numbers faster. If you find that the numbers aren't moving, or you find that they've slowed down, it's usually because you're fixated on them, because that's the goal. But if you make the goal the path to get there, then if you just follow the path, the goal shows up, the number shows up. It's a side effect. That's a very hard concept to grasp, especially as women, when we are always compared to skinnier women, when we always look at other women, when we always see other women's journeys, we hear people's comments, we hear things from our families. We're constantly in comparison. We're constantly not good enough. We're constantly not moving fast enough. We're not seeing enough results. We're always less than in some way, always in our mind. It will always be there. There's always some type of hole that we never live up to. But if you just embrace that your journey is your journey, and that is the goal, then there's nothing to measure your success against except your journey. Except your journey. In fact, there is no need to fail, because the failure is in the journey. So it's just considered a journey, not a failure. If you start to focus on day in and day out just being the best you possible, the numbers act as a side effect. But if you focus on the numbers as your number one goal for too long, it will become your downfall. It will become your nemesis. It will become the thing that mentally you measure your self-worth with. Has anybody been there before? Right? You think you're more worthy the lighter you are, the skinnier you are, the sexier you are. The number doesn't mean anything. The number shows up if whether or not you're being successful on your journey. It's a side effect. And so I just want you to start trying to tweak your thinking to that thought. Okay? If you find yourself tempted to weigh yourself every day, or if you find yourself very emotional on weigh-in day, or very emotional when you see a number that you didn't expect, okay, catch yourself. Realize that it shouldn't have that emotional response from you. You shouldn't be giving it that much power. It's just a number. It's an objective number that says yes or no. I did well. Yes. I need to change some things. Yes. That's all that it says. It has no place making you feel less than. It's literally a number. It's just gravity pressing down on a scale. That's all that it is. Because who you are going to be is not who you are right now, right? You have to change. You cannot be this person at that new weight. It will not work. If something does not change, you will never get there. So you cannot expect to not transform mentally. You can't be fighting the mental side of things along your journey. You can't be fighting the mental struggles, emotional struggles, spiritual transformations. You can't be fighting that along your journey. You can't be skipping through that to the number, because then you're missing the point and you'll never keep that number, or you'll always stop short of it. And it will always taunt you, and it will tease you. And it will make you feel more and more unworthy. and anxious. Okay, so the number is a tool, and it's a powerful tool for you. It's not supposed to have power over you. It gives power to you. It's just a measuring tool. It lets you know where you're at. Okay, ladies, so remember, we're literally reteaching you how to drink. So it's okay if you're not perfect. In fact, it's okay if you drool a little. Okay, ladies? So thank you very, very much for joining me. I really appreciate it. This one, very near and dear to my heart, because I know a lot of you ladies, there's ups and downs. And when there's ups, I feel your ups and I get excited with your ups. And when there's downs, I feel your downs. And it's all about not living in those extremes anymore and getting control of yourself and control of your emotions. But it takes time and it takes practice because you're relearning something. Or you're learning something you've never had before, right? Because maybe you used to take care of yourself, now you don't. Maybe you've never taken care of yourself. That's a whole nother challenge too. But that's okay. Mess up. I give you permission to mess up. I don't give you permission to stop.